Hi everyone, it's Dawn. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Dawn and I've been making beauty related videos here on YouTube for almost 6 years. And I hope you will join my community of mature women, over 40 crowd, over 50 crowd and above. And of course, if you're younger, stay here too. We'd love to have you. And who knows, maybe you can learn something from the older ladies. So anyways, today's video is going to be an all drugstore, all cruelty-free, newer products from e.l.f. video. Basically, everything that I'm using is going to be from e.l.f. I think there's one product that I didn't use from e.l.f. But yeah, I've got a bunch of newish, new to me products, and it didn't set me back because everything that you purchase from e.l.f. is like less than like $8 usually. Like even the foundations are very affordable and they're really great products. So let's just jump in and test out some of these newish products that I've never tried before. The first thing I'm going to do is put on this e.l.f. C Bright Putty Primer, and it's a putty primer infused with vitamin C. They have a putty primer that does just about everything. When I saw that they had one that has vitamin C in it, I said, yes, please, because I'm going to put this up right against my skin because the foundation I'm going to be using today has an SPF of 50 in it, and then I can use a brush-on sunblock on top of my foundation throughout the day to reapply my sunblock, because I don't want to put sunblock on my skin and then put this on top of that. I'm thinking it just won't soak into my skin. So let's go ahead and put this on. It doesn't have a fragrance that I can tell, and it has this pretty orange color to it. That's what it looks like. And I'm just gonna use my fingers, and it's just balmy like all their putty primers are. And I'm just gonna apply this all over. I will get a little bit pink because whenever I apply my skincare or rub things into my skin, I turn pink momentarily, but that will settle down and go away. My skin isn't irritated. It's just that fair and sensitive that even a little bit of pressure on it makes me turn pink. Now I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream. I did purchase a new one. I had one from when it first came out and I was concerned it was expired, but I also think I chose the wrong color the first time around. So I'll link the color I wear and I'll try this one. I'm hoping this will be the color I'll wear. So let's go ahead and try it on. It does have the SPF of 50 in it. Everybody, since this came out, compares it to the IT CC cream as like a dupe, and I guess I kind of agree with that. I really feel like it is very, very similar to the e.l.f. CC cream. However, the e.l.f. CC cream leaves me with more of a radiant finish, and this foundation leaves me with a more natural skin finish. Not matte, not radiant, just sort of a natural skin-like finish. And it doesn't take much, so it really is a good value for your money. I think it costs approximately, I think less than $10 for sure, and you get a pretty large size. And this does have collagen, peptides, and niacinamide infused in the foundation, so it's like skincare and foundation in one. I would say it's a medium buildable coverage, and it does leave me with a natural finish. I left it at more of a medium coverage so you can still see my freckles through it. I know if I applied another layer of it, I could get a really full coverage, but I don't like it quite so thick, so I'm gonna leave it here. I purchased 2 of the No Budge eyeshadows, and these are cream eyeshadows, like a putty eyeshadow, but they don't budge. And I haven't tried them yet, but I did swatch them last night on my hand, and I was just checking out the colors of everything I purchased on my hand, and it dried while it was sitting on my hand, and I could not get it off. Even when I washed my hands with soap and rubbed my hands together, I could not get it off my hand. So I washed my hands until they were clean, and then I just went to bed. And when I woke up this morning, it was still going strong. So I did use a Neutrogena makeup remover wipe, and that took it right off. So your makeup wipes will take it off, but I have a feeling that once I get these on, when I wash my face in the shower tonight, they're not going to come off. I'm going to have to use a separate wipe because that's what happened on my hand. And I also realized that a little goes a very long way. So I'm happy that I swatched it on my hand, because if I took the amount I put on my hand and put it on my eye, which looked like an appropriate amount, it was way too much, way too much. So I thought about how I was going to apply this. So I have a strategy. So let's jump in and get started. And I'm gonna start with Sand Dune, and this one is Canyon. Sand Dune is like a taupey brown, and Canyon is like a peachy orange. And I do have a MAC paint pot in Peachy Therapy or something like that, and I can't think of the name of it right now. And it looks a lot like this, and I love it. I wear it all the time for just like an everyday one and go, one and done eyeshadow look. And then this is what that looks like with the lid off, a little bit taupey. You can see where I swatched it, how it looks more brown, but then when you kind of get into it, it's a little more grayish or taupey. So I'm excited. Let's give it a go. So like I said, I have a strategy. I don't have tips yet because I've never applied it before. After today, I'll have some tips on how you can make it work better, but I hope that my strategy works and then we can just call it tips. So my first strategy is to go with a smaller brush, not a large fluffy brush, because this will spread it way too far, and you'll mean to put it maybe just on your eyelid or maybe just on your brow bone, but it will really spread around. When you first apply it, it is slightly wet and you're able to work with it, but then once it dries, it doesn't budge. So the name is correct, no budge, meaning nada, not at all. So I think I'm gonna go with, I'm not gonna take a smudger brush for the peach color, Canyon. I'm gonna go with sort of a dense brush, and I'm gonna just take the teensiest bit. I'm gonna pick a little bit up onto my brush, and I think this could potentially be too much. I hope it's not. If it is, you know what I'm gonna do? Well, I would share it between the two eyes, but if you don't work fast, it's gonna dry. So I think I did. I'm gonna take a little of this off. I just have a little rag on my lap. And I'm starting here at my lash line and blending up, because the way you like your eyeshadow to look, all of us, most of us, is that we like it to be a little more concentrated and then kind of sheer out into like a gentle edge, not like really bold everywhere. We like it to look blended. So I think I got the perfect amount for that. I have a little bit of the Canyon stuck here in my canyon, the canyon of my eye. I need to blend that out a little bit. Okay. That looks a lot like Match Therapy paint pot that I love. Okay, I'm just picking up a little more, and I'm gonna do the same thing over here. You guys, have you heard about the beagles? Especially if you're here in the States, you probably have. There's a lab in Virginia called Invigo, and it's like a pharmaceutical medical testing lab. And they also breed beagles there, because beagles are small and docile and pleasers, very mellow dogs, and they're easy to breed. So they were busted and shut down because, I'm gonna put a little bit more on this eye, because they were breeding these beagles and sending them to labs all over the United States. And I read the kinds of tests and things they did on these beagles, and I'm not going to tell you any of them because they're horrid. But suffice it to say that they were definitely treated inhumanely, like no doubt about it. They were treated cruelly and tortured. So the Animal Welfare or Humane Society and PETA and several organizations got involved, and there were almost 5,000 beagles, over 4,000 beagles went to animal shelters all over the United States, and our local shelter was included. They took just under 200 beagles. They knew these beagles were coming, so they prepared, and they found foster homes and permanent homes for the beagles that we were receiving. Who work at the shelter drove through the night to Virginia, got their beagles, brought them back. They let them stretch their legs. They let them run around. Oh, the pictures. They posted videos and pictures on their Facebook page. It just made me smile. They saved these dogs. They didn't even ever have names. They just had tattoos on their ears, so they were a number. And you can read about it if you want to know, like, what these beagles went through. I can't, not only do I not want to be the one who shares it, because I can't stand hearing or seeing animals or people being treated cruelly, but it's all out there. Anyways, all over the United States, they placed these beagles into homes, and they're being adopted out, and it's just such a sweet story. The beagles all got names. They got them out of the van at like 4 in the morning here at our shelter, let them run around all night long, not all night long, but for hours, feeding them and loving on them. They had lots of volunteers coming to play and bring toys, which these beagles have never experienced, and seeing the looks on their faces. I mean, you know when dogs smile, and they were smiling. It was just precious. And then they all went home, but throughout the entire day, it took like over an entire day, like over a 24-hour period for every single one of these beagles that we received, well, my local shelter received, and they took them home, and it's just so heartwarming. I love a story like that. I hate a story like that because of what they were going through, and you know that still goes on all over the place. But I love that these beagles were spared, and this lab was shut down, and yeah. Anyway, so this is all cruelty-free, by the way. Okay, now I'm going in with Sand Dune, and I have a smudger brush. So this is just a really short, stubby brush, and this is what I think will be the best way to do this, because I have the I want to say Therapeachy, because I keep thinking of MAC Paint Pot. That one's lovely too if you want to spend a little more, but this looks a lot like it. This might be a little brighter peach than Paint Pot, but it's insignificant, the difference, and these are only $5. And if they go on sale, like sometimes Elf has that buy one, get one 50% off, you'll even get a better deal. Okay, so I have the Sand Dune. I think these come in like 4 or 5 shades, and these were the only 2 that I thought I would wear. There is a darker brown one that I thought I might wear, but I have so many brown eyeshadows, and I thought I could just pull in a powder formula for that. I didn't really want to get it in like, I keep wanting to say a paint pot, in an elf pot. Okay, and what I'm doing is lining my lash line with it, but you know what? I thought it was gonna be darker because it looks darker. That's where that brown would come in handy to use as an eyeliner, the darker brown. I might pick that one up after all to use it as an eyeliner, but I don't hate what I just did. So I just placed a little smudged here, and I'm gonna go beneath my eye with that too, just, you know, as some color underneath my eye. Whenever I do this beneath my lower lash line, if I have a choice of like a taupey neutral color or a brighter color, 90% of the time I go with the neutral underneath my eye, because I am so fair and my eyes are so light that if I use anything that is pink, the wrong shade of purple, meaning a little too red or red, it will definitely give me the look of pink eye. Like, it will make me look ill. If you have brown eyes or green eyes or even like a medium skin tone, I think that that's a really pretty look. But if you're like me, very, very fair, you might feel the same way. If you don't, that's fine. I think it's just like a personal preference. I feel like it makes me look ill. So I always like to go with something a little more neutral underneath my eye. Okay, you may have noticed that I didn't use a primer on my eyelid, and that was on purpose because these have like a primer infused in them, and like I said, they don't budge. And after putting it on my hand yesterday and seeing how well it stuck, I thought it would just be a waste. So I did not use a primer. They should not crease or anything like that during the day. I'll have to put a notation down in the description box to let you know. I'm just correcting and blending a little bit up here. Correcting meaning making it match the other eye. But I will let you know. But I really do not anticipate these, even when the oil comes in on my eyelids, because I am an oily skinned girl and I will get greasy on my eyelids and beneath my eye. I mean, who knew that you had like oil glands in your eyes? But I do. So I don't think that that will even factor in, but we'll see. It might, because like I said, I couldn't remove it with soap and water when it was on my hand, but a wipe did. And I think these have, I don't know what they have in them, but something different than water. So maybe it was oil. And if that's the case, then it could make my eyeshadow crease. So please check the description box and I'll put a notation where I'll link these and put a notation to let you know. My thoughts on just the eyeshadow. That was so easy to apply. That was the first time I ever applied it, obviously, and it went very well. I think it really helped that I had a strategy going in. If I took these home last night and filmed a video, it would have been a big mess. This would be an entirely different video, but because I had swatched it and worked with it on my hand, I could formulate a strategy in my mind. I always recommend swatching everything you get. I love that. I usually shop like during the day and then I don't use the products till the next day. So when I'm in bed at night, like when my husband's got his laptop and he's doing work and I'm sitting there doing whatever it is I do, I pull the bag up onto my bed and I go through everything. So my husband always gets a preview. I'm like, look, isn't it pretty? Or, you know, I make little commentaries about my products to him, whether he likes it or not. Okay, so now, since it is completely dry, it does stay a little bit tacky for you to work with it. And I feel like it does stay tacky long enough to work with it. I had plenty of time. But once it's dry and you can't work with it anymore. So sometimes I like things to be a little bit softer here on the edge. I think I did a pretty good job of blending it, but sometimes I like that little kind of ombre transition. So what you could do is take your foundation in a powder form. So I've got a powder foundation right here, and not like your setting powder, but actually a powder foundation, because it matches your skin tone already. And then pick it up with whatever brush. I'll pick it up with like a little bit fluffier of a brush, and I'm picking up a little bit of my powdered foundation. And then you can blend the edges. I find that this works with any kind of shadow, whether it's a powder, a cream, anything. So this is a trick I do pretty often if I notice that I didn't really seamlessly blend my foundation. I feel like that's kind of a good tip. I mean, it's not a bad tip, right? It's not the worst tip I've come up with. Okay, so there it is. And I feel like that helps because it kind of goes over where it's a little dark and not quite blended enough and softens it and does give you that kind of ombre look. If I used my setting powder, it would just set everything in place. It wouldn't really make that difference. So it's gotta be like a powder foundation, in my opinion. I'm not a makeup artist, so take that for whatever it's worth. Okay, and so I've never used an e.l.f. brow product. I always go for NYX. Between the two, I always think of NYX and e.l.f. as being like almost one and the same. The prices are about the same. I love certain products from e.l.f. more than certain products from NYX, and I go back and forth between the two. But I really like NYX's brow products, and the reason I do is that they create auburn or red, so I have an option. And even before they did that, because that's pretty relatively new, they had their light brown had a lot of golden in it and worked for my brows. e.l.f. does not have auburn, at least not that I've ever seen. So I picked up blonde this time because I usually go with our medium brown or brown, but it's too dark for me. So I thought I would go ahead and go with the blonde, and I've never used this. It's retractable and has a nice tip on it. It looks like a really sharp little tip. I hope that it's nice and strong because, you know, some of these products, it's fragile and you go to apply a little bit of pressure and then it cracks. So we'll see. I'm sure I'm probably the last person to use e.l.f. brow products because they're probably just fine for anyone else, you know, who doesn't have strawberry blonde hair. Okay, this is not a golden blonde. This is a taupey, more of a dishwater blonde color, but it works. Do I love it? I like the product, but the color isn't just right for me, but I'll use it. You know who will use this? My daughter, Paulina. She has brown hair and she will definitely use this, but I don't know if I dislike it enough to give it away yet. I like it. I kind of like when it's more golden, but I don't know, you can be the judge. I do like this tip. I find that even though it's a retractable, you know, a lot of these retractable ones are slant tipped, and so it's hard to draw individual hairs, but because this has such a nice pointy tip, I can kind of draw in what looks like hair strokes, which is what I like to do. And I do have some silver or white, not silver, definitely white. My grays don't come in silver, they come in white. So I have a couple little white hairs and it's covering them nicely. Comb them out. This brush is really nice. They had a lot of different brow products. They had a lot of gels and things like that too. I never paid attention to them before just because I could never find the right color, but I was tempted to grab that too. I decided not to though. Maybe next time when I need to replace my Anastasia brow gel, I'll go with the e.l.f. and save myself some money. If this came in like the Anastasia color Straw Burn, which is for strawberry blonde hair, or Auburn, it would be perfect because I like everything else about it. And I'm just setting it with my Anastasia clear brow gel. I'm told by Allure magazine or Mary Claire, I was in the dental office with my son. He's getting his braces off soon. He has one more, he had to have his braces tightened or rubber bands changed one more time. We thought he was gonna get them off this time, but he didn't. So I was reading magazines in the dental office while I waited for him. And I'm told that fluffy, more natural brows are in. So yeah, that's good news for some, bad news for others, bad news for those of us who plucked our brows in the 90s. So anyway, I did also pick up a quad from e.l.f. and it's one of the bite size. These are $3. And this is a newer one and it's called Cream and Sugar. Look how pretty it is. So I think I'm going to use the brown in this dark brown to line my lower, well, I'll kind of do like a reverse cat eye. And I got myself a new MAC pencil brush, like a liner brush. Many of you use your teeth to open packages. It's probably rude that I did that on my video, but I do it all the time and I know I shouldn't. So I got myself a new MAC 209 brush because I wanted a really fine tipped brush like this to line my lower lash lines like I have been doing this year. This is like something new that I saw a makeup artist, and I wish I could remember who it was, doing this, and I started doing it about 10 months ago, maybe a year ago. And what I like to do is take my liner and line my lower lash line. I usually use MAC Carbon for this, but I dropped it and it broke. And now I always get way too much product. I tried to press it back down. I tried to use some Fix Plus and press my Carbon back into the compact, but it's not behaving the same ever since then, ever since I dropped it. So I get way too much product and my eyeliner doesn't come out right. So I need to probably pick up a new one or try like researching what I could do to kind of fix that and still be able to use it. Usually Fix Plus fixes everything. I like Fix Plus a lot. This is my Prep and Prime Fix Plus. I use it to wet my brushes. That's what I should do. I use it to, if you have a product like this in a pot that's getting a little bit dried out, if you spray like half a pump of this onto it, put the lid on and leave it, it'll soften the product right up again so you can finish it. I've done that with my Milani pot of brow product. It works really well for that. Fix Plus is a great product to have around. I just like to go in like this, right here, and then out here. And then underneath. So now I think I'll just take the little smudger brush and smudge again to make everything look a little bit soft, no harsh lines. When I purchased my Camo foundation again, I also needed to replace the concealer and I forgot to pick that up. So I need a new concealer as well. The Camo concealer is really, really good. It reminds me of the extra creamy Shape Tape from Tarte, which is one of my absolute favorite under eye products or concealers, and it's really good. That was one concealer that I used all the way up. So I do need to get a new one, but I probably should just get through some of these others that aren't bad. But I really like the Camo concealer a lot. I would highly recommend it. But today I used the number 7 Lift and Luminate, and I really like this one too. It's not as full of a coverage. So if you're covering dark circles, it won't do it as well as like the Camo. But I don't use it for that. I use it mainly for brightening and cleaning up and some shadows here in the corner. And it's doing it. This is wonderful for that. I really like this sponge. This is an e.l.f. sponge that I just picked up. I've never used their version of the Beauty Blender sponge. I usually use Real Techniques. This is what I use like almost 100% of the time. And I like this better actually. I'll have to price out the difference and pick up maybe a pack of the e.l.f. I really like this. I am gonna do something unexpected. I'm gonna put on some Ardell Naturals, some false eyelashes today, and they look like this. They're very, very natural. They should look a lot like regular lashes and not look like I'm wearing false lashes, but it might give me a little more oomph. So I'm gonna go put these on and I'll be right back. So let's go on to bronzer. And I did pick up a new putty bronzer, and this time I picked it up in the shade Honey Drip. I did have it before, and while I really liked it, I chose the lightest color and it didn't have a lot of color payoff. Now I picked Honey Drip, which is the second to the lightest, and I have this really handy brush. This is an e.l.f. putty brush, and it has a little scooper on one end, which is really handy even for like the eyeshadows, just to get them out, especially if you have fingernails that are a little bit longer. And then it has a buffing to buff. But I think what I'm gonna do is just use the buffing side and run it along the bronzer. I'm just gonna kind of contour a little bit, which I never do. I just thought I would do something a little bit different. Contour. Usually I like my face to look as full as I can, because as we age, you all know that we lose volume in our face. So if your face appears a little bit fuller, it creates the illusion of youth. So I really don't like to contour a lot. I don't think I'm very good at it either. Even if I did contour a lot, I don't think that I would achieve that super chiseled look that you see in like magazines and things like that. So I am a huge fan of the Putty Blush from e.l.f. I have a whole bunch of the regular formula where it's more of like a matte, not a luminous formula. I don't know if you'd call it a matte, more of like a skin-like finish. But I wanted to try one of the newer luminous formulas, so I did pick one up in the shade Bermuda. I looked at all the color swatches that they have on the arm that they show you on the website, and I thought this would be a really nice color that I don't already have in my collection. And I guess the way I would describe it is a rose, like a rose colored color. This is what it looks like. I thought it would be pretty for summer going into fall, whereas like the regular formula, I have this really hot bubblegum pink one, and this one might scare some of you, but this one is so, so pretty for that really pop of pink on your cheeks that makes everyone just look so healthy. I really like this. So I'm gonna use this. I might add a little of this. So yeah, let's go ahead and try this. I'm just gonna use my finger to apply it. And it's very creamy and balmy. And you know what? This is pretty pink as well. I thought it looked more, well, it is rosy, but I thought it might lean a little more corally. It definitely leans corally pink. Maybe I would go with pink coral instead of coral pink. And I just do the apples of my cheeks and just gently blend it out the rest of the way. And now I'm using the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. And I absolutely love this stuff. I think most people really like this. I feel like it gives me a pretty glow without looking luminous, like the Tin Man, like a highlighter, if that makes sense. It just gives me some radiance. It's not like a flat look. Like I don't feel like I need to go in with my Fix Plus and kind of make everything look more cohesive and blended together. I feel like it already kind of does that on its own because it's not overly powdery or talky, if that makes sense. And I'm thinking that I'm not really noticing the luminosity in the Luminous blush. And I thought that I would just swatch the Luminous here. This is like the Luminous formula. I guess I can see some reflective light there. And now let's take a close shade. This one's not an exact match. And this one is in the like original formula that isn't luminous. And let's put that here. And I'm not sure what shade this one is, but it's close. I want to say Tahiti. So yeah, I guess it is luminous. What do you guys think? So that's the regular formula and that's the luminous formula. I feel like if there is a difference, it's nominal. It's not a big difference. So yeah, I don't know. I was going to forego highlighter because I thought, well, this will offer that in addition to the blush. But I do have the Halo Glow Luminous powder. So I think I have enough kind of glow to my face. I could certainly add more. I mean, can we ever glow too much? And I wanted all of you to see how the eyeshadow, the No Budge eyeshadow performs before I do anything else on my eyes. So you can see the only thing I did is apply my false lashes and a little bit of mascara. I didn't do anything else. And I think it looks really, really pretty. But I wanted to take a shimmery shade out of this Cream and Sugar palette and just do like a highlight in the center of my eye. And I just have like a fluffy brush for that just to see. Oh yeah, that's really pretty. Ooh, that's really shimmery. It's like Pat McGrath shimmery, really shimmery. Look at that, look how pretty that is. And I'm gonna do this one too. So, you know, if you're going to work, I think the nice matte No Budge or, you know, something a little more just everyday. But if you want to kind of spice it up a little bit for the evening, you could add a little bit of the shimmer to it. And let's go ahead and put a little here too. It is Friday, right? You know, on Friday we should glow. I don't know, Monday we should glow, but Monday's hard to glow. That's what that looks like. I think it's really pretty. I had mentioned earlier that I don't really like e.l.f.'s lip products as much as I love NYX's lip products, and I kind of compare those two brands. I do love the liquid lip from e.l.f., and this is an opaque lip product. It isn't like a long wearing matte liquid lipstick. It's more of a, like just a liquid, it's a gloss that is opaque and not sheer and just gives you a lot of color payoff, but it's not as long wearing as a matte liquid lip. I have more of a corally pink, and this is more of like a bubblegum pink. So I am gonna go ahead with an NYX lip product, and this is a liquid lip with a gloss on the other end. And I believe this product is called Shine Loud, and my color is in Cash Flow, which is a peachy pink. And I'm gonna go ahead and apply this. Whenever I use a liquid lip like this that kind of dries down to a matte, I don't need a lip liner with it because once it dries down, it stays within the borders of your lips anyways. So I'm gonna apply this really quickly. So I have to wait a moment, and then this is gonna dry and it's gonna be matte. And then I top it with the gloss on the other side. So many brands make products like this one. And when you eat and drink and go about your day, you'll need to reapply only the gloss. The lip product pretty much stays fresh and stays put. If you eat something really greasy, you'll probably need to reapply it, because I think anything that's really oily, like a salad with an oily dressing or something, might remove it. But otherwise, it's pretty long wearing. If you're just drinking coffee, you know, mainly drinking, you don't need to reapply it. So I'm going to put the gloss on now because it's nice and dry. And I really like this product a lot. It doesn't dry out my lips like some of these long wearing lip products can. And I feel like NYX has a really nice color selection. So this is the finished look. And I hope you enjoyed this very affordable, cruelty-free, all drugstore get ready with me. Let me know if you like these kinds of videos. Hit the like on your way out. Leave me any comments or questions down below in the comment section. Check to see if you are the winner of my last monthly giveaway. And yeah, I hope you have a blessed and beautiful day and a wonderful weekend. I'll see you soon.